Peace, and blessings. Hey, definitely want to welcome you all back. Now, I know that you all familiar with me saying something else, but today this is actually I want to welcome you to Words of Silk, and this is actually a poetry TV show, and this is actually the season 2, and this is presented by not only myself, which is I Said It Management, celebrity interviewer, and my friends at Landmark International Broadcasting Network. And today, our first virtual guest is someone that's a friend of mine and someone that I've known for a while. You know what I mean? We've crossed the stage many a times, man. You know what I mean? It's been a pleasure. And I'm speaking about a person who's actually a Christian poet. He's a spoken word artist, very talented at the pen. You know what I mean? And also, he's a media producer. And also, let's not forget, he's the founder of O Live Recording. And I'm talking about the one and only Mannerism. Welcome to the show, brother. Peace, King.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good, good,
Yeah.
man. Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. You know what I mean? Like I say, I definitely want to welcome you being the first virtual guest as we kick off season 2 of, you know what I mean, Words of Silk Poetry. Man, so I just like to, you know what I mean, always start from the beginning of, how has poetry influenced your life and how did it begin to influence your life?
Um, it's it's weird, man, how I even got into poetry. Really weird because I was um I was rapping, before I came into Christ. I was a local artist, really seeking to see, how far I can go with the rap. But lyrically, I was, well known in Chicago, as far as lyrically, as an artist. Um, got my old CD circling out there on the internet somewhere. I'm not trying to chase no royalties, but it's weird. Like my CD is out there circulating. Somebody just make some copies and it's just out there. But once I had a new transformation, my born again experience transformation, I stopped doing all that. I thought I was gonna be doing Christian rap, but nothing would come. It was just a total blank. Like nothing came to me. It was nothing. So I just kind of just imagined, um, almost like a fantasy, pretty much being an artist. Then I would but I was always in graphic design, so I would go everywhere, promoting my graphic design services. In one particular, when I stayed in Calumet City in South Holland during that time. One particular place was in Dalton called Giovanni, so I started dropping my business cards out there and talking to the owner and stuff like that. Then I would see they had a poetry thing going on. Rest in peace to Nico Washington. He was the founder of that that event there at
Yeah,
Giovanni.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I would see the host and like, wow, like the host June was like very animated. I was like, wow, this, and then they had like all the girls in there and like a lot of women in there, nice looking women in there, you know, and
Yeah.
a lot of dope poets. First time I even seen Red Storm live before he even went to HBO was at Giovanni's. And I didn't know anything about this arena too much. I always thought because in my rapping years as a very young guy, um, it will always be that one poet that comes to the open mic events, the hip hop events. It's always just that one lady or guy, weird guy with the rap, the Erica Badu rap, and it was just weird to me. They always is solo. There's always just be that one, that one poet,
I know what
and
you mean, man.
back in the day, that one poet is weird. Now poets is everywhere. Now poets poetry is a way of life, and spoken words just it's like very popular, well known genre now. It's really sparking off real good, and I just happened to come at the right time. I don't know. Out in the church arena, I just imagine myself like maybe um being on that Giovanni stage. Just a figment of my imagination. I was thinking like, I could probably do something like that. It's weird. I never thought of myself like doing poetry during those time years. I wish I could put a date on that. That had to been like it had to been around 2007.
Yeah.
2008 around that time. Yeah, and it's like doing church. Just being under God and reading the Bible, being under ministry, and being the subject of just reading the Word and just being just I don't know, just on the leadership and just learning scripture and learning. I just do a way of life, this awesome new way of life that I chose, this path that actually God chose me in this path, and all of a sudden I had some I would say some psalms or something, some poems just dropped in my spirit, and with
Mm.
no music and nothing like that. So it wasn't rap; it was just words. It was just downloading me out of nowhere. Just and I started writing it. Then once I started writing, I started reading it. Then I started reading, I started memorizing. Then I started memorizing, I started presenting in my little ministry I was a part of during that time. And I started reciting in the church. And
Right.
then
Word.
I started becoming, a spoken word artist. And then after a while, I started writing more, memorizing more. And then next thing you know, okay, it was time to take it outside the four walls of the church.
Mm.
And then and the rest is history. Like I was just constantly just writing and memorizing. I think I do more memorizing than writing now. This it's a process now. I mean, a lot of stuff I write down, I get that comes to me. Is most of it's inspired. Most of the stuff I write is not in. I mean, it's not really custom made. Just off the blue. I don't really write like that. I can like someone has asked me to write something specific, and I have done it, and I've done some really good projects. Some signature pieces. I got only a couple signature
Right.
pieces where people actually say, "Oh, I need this and that," and they end up I'm using it all the time. Even put on my album, my spoken word album that's out now on all the platforms. But
That's
it,
speaking of. I'm sorry.
it
Excuse me. You speaking of poetical pupil
poetical pulpit,
pulpit. I'm sorry.
and then but before that, I was just doing live events, open mics, and things like that. Before I decided to you know a fraction, a collection of things already memorized. And I decided, okay, I'll take these 8 and I just put it behind a microphone and record it. And yeah, but most of the stuff is inspired. Like most of the stuff I write is inspired. It could be a little spark, and I just take it from there. I just keep going on my pen, and then it's like a window that opens.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know, it's
Hey.
just weird. The window opens, and I just gotta write then. And once it's open, I just work creatively while that window's open. You know.
Right. Absolutely, man. Now with that being said, I now definitely rest in peace to Nico. You know what I mean. I also when I started back in '01, you know what I mean. That was one of the places I used to fall through. You know what I mean. And again, like you said, June. Shout out to June. You know what I mean. He was also as a one of the hosts. So man, with that being said, who was like a person who actually like became a mentor to you?
It was Red Storm, man.
Oh man, now
It,
that's
it,
dope.
it wasn't. It wasn't at Giovanni's though.
Yeah.
It wasn't at Giovanni's. It was. I don't know when it was, man. It was when I heard that redemption piece, man. And my mom. Oh God. Either my mom was yeah, my mom was in her demise stages. Then after she passed, I heard it again, and it really hit. Like he had a poem called Redemption, and he talked about his mom passing and how he wasn't ready for that and things. The different elements I was in that piece. It just made him an instant hit for me personally. And then different things. So like I told him, like I got a chance to talk to him. Actually, I got a chance to feature him at one of my events, with my open mics. I had the privilege of picking him up and then setting him up for the event and then getting some advice from him.
Yeah.
And then he I I told him, man, like, listen to you, man. It sounds like this is just a story. I'm trying to just paraphrase the best way I can. I said, man, like, I'm on the phone talking to him when I was talking to him.
Yeah, sir.
Before I actually picked him up, I said, like, man, listen to you, man. It's like, listen, it's like intoxicating, like it's like wine or something. I don't know what it is, man. When you talk, it's like intoxicating. Like he was like, but don't tell me that, man. Tell the people that, let them know what's going
Yeah, shout out to
on.
Red Storm, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Look forward to having him on this show too, man.
Mm,
Soon, hopefully.
mm.
That'll be dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. You
but
know what I mean?
I mean, he's one, and um, now my mentors has evolved. He definitely I definitely he's inspiring. He's very inspiring. I'm inspired by Red Storm, but it's involved now. And believe it or not, people I'm really inspired by now, up to date, is just people around in my immediate circle.
Yeah,
My good friend who's 76 years old, God Poet. He's supposed to actually be meeting me here. I'm over here on River Oaks parking lot and on
right.
Torrance. He's supposed to be
Okay.
meeting me here. God Poet. I produced his single that's out now, off my production label for spoken word artists. You know, inspiring, clean spoken word artists. That is. And when I say clean, just something inspiring. I'm not trying to. It's not a Christian label. It's Christian based, but it's like I'm not trying to just do work with just Christian people. Even though God's poet, he's a man of God to 100% power. But I want to work with people. You know what I'm saying? And I want to send positive messages out there. You know, and that's really I want to my goal. But he's 76, and he's a poet, and a lot of people don't see 76-year-olds out here going open mics and doing poetry. They should,
Yeah,
but since the media prostitutes um people's psyche and thinking like you can't do anything if you past a certain age, is like, first of all, um a lot of this manipulation is an error, because the poetry genre is like ageless.
yeah, really though.
from from 1 to 100, you can, as long as you can spit, it's accepted. It's an ageless genre, so we can't make it something other than that. And so I want to work with all ages.
Yeah, I like that and definitely respect that, man. You know what I mean? Salute. As you see, I work with a lot of people that's from the generation that came before us. And man, people just don't want to understand the pleasure that comes with that, to be around like a person that's like a grandmother, grandfather type wisdom figure
Yeah,
in your life, man. You know, that's precious. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to
yeah,
God Pope.
yeah. God Poet, and yeah, Mr. Frank Alexander. He came up around Red Storm, Black, and with June. But mostly like people like Black and Red Storm. I'm sure they know him too. And he's been going to like the Cotton Club and different things like that. As far as what he's been telling me before I was even thinking about doing any poetry. I did poetry like
Mm.
I wrote some poetry like years ago, like in college, and just here and there, and I did it well too. But yeah, that was really doing it, like going out there, being out there, and now I have the privilege to work with him, and then people in my media circle. Those people are who really influence me now, and but for the most part, and as far as influences in poetry, I gotta say, and I say this a lot too, and it still stands. Is King Solomon and King David, because he wrote a lot of psalms, and Job too. So those, because reading Job is like different chapters of Job. I can actually do a whole piece just off a chapter
Yeah,
in Job. So um those writings in Job, and with the Psalms. and then those Proverbs and those, oh my gosh, and Songs of Solomon and Ecclesiastes. Those are just the um, major influences, major things that spark me to write. Cornerstones too. Sometimes when you're building a house, I'm like, okay, how am I gonna start this? A scripture or something from the Word of God I can use as a cornerstone to build from, and it never fails. Come
Right,
out with some
right.
really great things.
Right. Let me ask you this too. You know what I mean? That's definitely a beautiful shirt you got on. You know what I mean? The old live recording. How can one order one of those? How can they get that for themselves?
You can go to righteoustees.com. My website of Olive, I pronounce it Olive Recordings. Um, uh, the inspiration of Olive Recordings is really Daniel, the book of Daniel, when he was in a lion's den, and the next day Darius ran. I believe it was Darius, King Darius ran down there to see if he was okay, because those Chaldeans manipulated the king. So he had a decree that he agreed with. So they got to put Daniel in his lion den. And when the angels had shut the mouths of the lions, he couldn't wait to come down there and see if he was okay, because he really loved Daniel. He really loved Daniel, and he had to go against the he had to go. He couldn't go against what he agreed with the what they manipulated, but he had to go with it. But the fact that he found out he was a true man of God, it flipped the script, and those guys that put him down there, it didn't turn out good at all for them. So but when he came down there, he was like, his response was, "O King, live forever." I'm like, no, that wouldn't be my response. I'm like, that's a true, humble, true mentor to really look at those Daniel, because I would have some curse words to say to the king, like, "Why'd you put me down here?"
Right.
And some other words, some other choice words, but he has some honor at the being put down there by him. He has some honor, and that's just something that And plus, my name is Oliver, so I took the olive out of there. So it's like,
Right.
like kind of a double meaning, double mantra. And then with the recordings, it kind of spells my whole last name. I start off with recording, so we got Oliver right there.
Ah, dope.
So it's
Dope.
Olive. So I pronounce it Olive Recordings with
Mm.
S LLC. I incorporated. I owed IRS some money, so I don't know if it's dissolved yet. But I gotta. I'm scared. I'm too scared to check it out. It's only been like a year, so maybe not. But it's hard. It's
Hey
hard
man,
trying to keep up.
that's a real genius behind that name. I really like that. I appreciate that, man. You know, I appreciate people that also take a lot of thought behind the name that they
Yeah.
go with the title,
Mhm.
man, because it's very important when it comes to marketing and everything. So let
Mhm.
me ask you, when it comes to the name Mannerism, how did you come up with that, and why did you decide to stick to the name even when it comes to the spelling?
The spelling was mostly just unique. I took the I out. That might have some significance. Well, it does. I took the I out. Just took me out of there. I and it's RZM, manna from heaven, RZM. And if you know the definition of mannerism, it says a way, a mode, or characteristic. And okay, let me have a way, a mode. My characteristic should be more to align with God, with manna, with the word of God. So I want to have a way, a mode of doing things. That's what mannerism is, a way, a mode of doing things. So let me take that manna and let my way, or mode of doing things be more aligned with God. That's simply what that is.
Okay, absolutely. Much respect. Let me take a second and show some of these pictures, because I've seen you at some great events, you know what I mean, over the years. So this is just some that I hand plucked. I'm gonna start with the most recent one that I've seen you in, or that you've been a part of. Can you speak about this and what you're doing with this?
Yeah, so one of the greatest hosts. I mean, I recommend Stephen Mosley to host any event. Very well spoken, good brother, very funny, great host. He hosts an event. It's the Inspirant. First time this year, I've hosted my open mic, which is the Inspirant. I had the Inspirant going for some years, but since COVID and everything, I shut it down. But now it's back open. Um, I'm looking to open this thing up again, the showcase and open mic, next month in May. I don't have an actual date. I'm looking for May 1st, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. But Inspirant is it's a all ages friendly, clean open mic for poetry and spoken word. And I want to be more friendly to all ages. That's why I said, family friendly. And I want people to just, clean up, do the edit version. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, I want people to come in um and do their thing. Just do something that's uplifting. That's what I call it inspiration, inspirant. And also in addition to the open mic, we have attached to it, which is my favorite part of the showcase,
Okay.
is the improv.
Mm.
The improvisations is like this particular one I just passed. I had the most laughs, the most fun ever since I've done this. And I just don't know what to expect because it's like the way it works is how I set up the improv is the improv segment of the show. I'll have artist participation. I'll have one audience member choose the location, and I have
Okay.
another audience member choose the problem, the issue,
Mm.
and we slap those together. And I'll ask a few more from the audience to come up and act out these things right off the top, no script, just for about 3 or 5 minutes, and then I'll
Mm.
blow a horn, and then that'll be it. So they just keep going until, and I'll be crying like it's so funny. It's like it's I have a really good time with those. So that's something new I want to bring to the open mic scene in Chicago.
Hey.
And yeah, particular one I had in Beverly on 95th, the Beverly Hills Arts Center in the Beverly area in Chicago.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I know we running low on time, so let me run through a couple more pictures. You know what I mean? I definitely gotta shout out my brother, Just Mike the Poet, and
Yep.
who was this other gentleman you staying with?
Frizzy is actually a mentor. He is definitely a mentor. A good friend from Columbus, Tennessee. And
Okay.
at this particular event here, he has this event called the Poets Playground,
Oh, okay.
and he does a lot of interaction. I really learned about interaction with the audience, and then kind of feeding off each other, and then kind of bouncing off different poems, different I can't explain this. Like he had the main thing at the event we was at in Tennessee was at this event was Judge Mike was going back and forth almost conversational wise with their pieces. So they were like having conversation, but they were saying these conversations and they're mixing it in with their poetry. It's hard to explain. I'm sure he was the guy's name who's founder of this. His name is Frank Frizzy.
Right.
So if you look up follow Frizzy, Frizzy, he can tell you more about it. And it's good exercise for like artists, for poets. And he's a really good, smart brother who knows about marketing, who showed me a lot about marketing and how to
Right.
market ourselves as artists and how to promote and things like that. So I took a lot of that information, and he's really good. He's a good poet, awesome poet, and he's doing big things out there in Tennessee.
Okay, word, word. Shout out to him then, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's the whole point of going virtual now with Words of Silk. Porch TV show, man, is now I'm just so happy, man, that now we be able to reach brothers like that who's also very talented himself. You know
oh
what I mean?
yeah.
Now how can people reach you? How can they find you? How can they purchase your new album? What's the best way?
You can go and just any platform that you use. I don't care if it's Amazon Music, iTunes, Deezer, Tidal, Spotify. You can find Mannerism, spelled Manna RZM, like Manna from Heaven, RZM, MANNA RZM. Just put that in the search bar; it'll come up. You spell it like that, and you can download my album. And I have other artists too. Jewel Lau, he has a couple singles out. I produced a single, um, Fallon Sampson, and also Cannon Chisholm, and then God's Poet. And so I'll be kind of busy with my album. I'm going to come out with a new album this year called Raw Fruit. That's gonna be
Hmm.
my that's gonna be my sophomore album, and then I'll be working on Jewel Lau's album, and then God's Poet album. And hopefully I can get all that done this year. But definitely, my album's gonna come out this year, a little later, probably toward the summer.
Okay, salute to June Lau. He was here on season one. So man, we had a great time here on the show. You know what I mean? I remember that. That was a great interview too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
man. So that's when it comes to the media producer. So you produce like his whole album, whatever like that.
I produced my whole album. Oh, that's Mr. Frank right there. Yeah, I produced my whole album,
Okay.
and
Much respect. What's up?
I produced. I'll be producing July's whole album. Not not limited to using other people's tracks or beats, but for the most part, I'll be doing mostly the engineering for everything because I do a lot of
Okay.
studies. I go to the University of YouTube, and I learn
All right.
a lot of my mixing and engineering myself. So
Yes, sir.
so that's how I
Right.
learned how to mix my own album. I started my own album first, and then it's
Mm.
quality. So when you download it, you're not going to hear any bootleg stuff. It's some real good quality stuff and master too in the tracks. And it's spoken word. It's like how I record, because it's spoken word. Now I don't care how anybody else do it, but the way I do it is I like to not have the poets say their poetry over music like while in the studio. No, I like to have them a cappella do their poetry, the spoken word, and then I will find a track that will match that spoken word. I'll put the music behind it later,
Mm.
and I can chop up, spaces in between to make it flow good. I can do the editing of the vocals just to make it flow better. But I want it to actual sound like it's an actual spoken word, piece. So it's not
Right.
about saying on a beat that's rap. So you're not trying to keep with the beat. It's actually the flip side of that. It's like the beat is trying to keep with you. So you got to find the right track that matches and just what do you call it? That exerts and complements the actual words. And the words have to be the most dominant thing in the spoken word arena. Well, that's at least how I feel.
Okay, and hey, it sounds good. I'm taking note, man. You know what I mean? I don't have too much experience in the studio per se. I'm more on stage and everything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
man, I like to definitely say, man, it's been a pleasure, bro, to have you here on the show, man. You know what I mean? To kick off the virtual Words of Silk Live, man. But before we get out of here, something I forgot to tell you. Shame on me. But I definitely want to end this show with a live piece by yourself, if you don't mind, man. You know what I mean? Whether you want to do a whole piece is up to you, or give us a verse or something like that. But first, if before you do that, I have to shout out my I say the managed sponsors. So I definitely like to thank um hold on. Here we go. Let me take this down. Yeah, hairbossbiz.com. Shout out to Dolores Green. You know what I mean? You can also going to be able to find her on my upcoming website, which is isaidit.tv.com. And you'll be able to see her all the time and hear about her on AC Green show, and that's every Sunday. So shout out to AC Green as well. And then when it comes to the other sponsor and a huge supporter of the show as well, I have to shout out Aesthetics, and that is the art of beauty. And she has a fashion boutique located out there in California. So I really appreciate all of her support. And make sure you all support her. And her website is Aesthetics, and that's Aesthetics ABRART.com. So check her out definitely. And also shout out to lifeandentertainment.com. You'll be able to find celebrity interview I said at the show featured on there coming up real soon. So you know what I mean, just stay tuned. So shout out to Gina, Gina Hills. And last but not least, shout out to my other media sponsor, Just for Me, Just Me Magazine. And that's justmemagazine.com. So shout out to Elise Boswell. You know what I mean? That's a real good sister as well. Peace to all those queens. Okay, now I'm sorry. With that being said, before you know what I mean, you just rip the mic like you do. I to give you a nice little short intro. You know what I'm saying? Video, and here it goes. So after the video, man, is all on you to go in. You know what
How
I'm
much
saying?
time I got? How much time I got?
The video is probably about 5 to 10 seconds long.
But how about me? How much time I got for the poem? I'm gonna read something.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. And when you done, then that's when it's over. That's how I end the show.
Okay.
But let me tell you again, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you, man. Much respect to you. You already know. Get at me anytime. You already know you got my support all day at I Say the Management, and
Absolutely. Thank you.
it's all love.
All right. God
Yes,
bless.
sir. God bless.
And Giovanni's.
It's on you, brother. I'm gonna do it again.
Colonial structure, government. Colonial allies, government. Colonial, colon structure. Colon allies, government. Allied through the colon. Plus their breath stinks. Stinky lies attract flies. So they should govern mints. Mints are meant to be governed. Sentiments exactly. When your breath smells like derriere air, at least your neighbor can have a sentiment. How about you try some cinnamon mint? No judgment. I meant well for the cinnamon. I come mental. At times apart for what is meant. Compartmentalizing apartments. Separated what's meant to be partial, organized. Menthol organisms. Isms have menthol organs, frozen brains. Repurpose mental thought organs. Organize your colonial colons. That's an organ. A musical instrument for Morgan. What Morgan's Morgan in? Captain Morgan. Captain with a big knee. Too much Captain Morgan. Now knees been over the toilet. Don't let the rum toil again. Throwing up so hard, think I saw an organ. Drink responsibly. Organize. Form of government. Petition is formed to indict the governor. Ignore the .gov. Dot on the governor. The target on the governor was spot on. You can't ignore it nor govern the ambiguous amount of anti-moral noirs. The time is winding down while I sipping wine. Pinot Noir. Is a maneuver new or natively in ancient nuances and nuances? Is it new or is it what Jehovah Tiskenu wants? Yeah, I knew it. So let it flow through it. Canoe it. Swiftly swirl through swamps like it's a Kahlua. Tripping on trippy trips. Cognitive resorts. A trip to Kahlua. Inebriate my psyche. Built with tabs on a hula hula. It's exotica, Bermuda. No triangles. No lunar illuminations. Triangles, that triangular entanglements. I told you that breath stinks. They should tangle mints like Will and Jada. But God's will ain't jaded. He put me on a roll that's gold plated with jade. Praise Jah. Jah from Judah. Looking for a new Judah to chop it up with like judo. She'll be my tree, juniper. Now we at the altar with Bishop, saying the vows on cue. We still got the juice. But now it's lawful, judicial, biblical, like Judah and Judas. She ain't Jewish, but she go Judeo. The bride of Christ's reception got Judy juking. She's electric. She's Jubilee, shining like a ruby. She's a jewel, created by the jeweler, the rejuvenator. He rejuvenates. He left the 99 to find me lost in the 2000s. I'm juvenile. But thanks to the prayers of my Romeo and Juliet, the sin sprayed in God's nostrils like juke. Now I ravish brain food to my head big like Betty Boop. I have a kingdom birthright, and I ain't selling it for soup. Although I will progress, so I seek government from my governor, from the firmament. If I start off with lemons, I sprinkle increments in my subtlety. With this weed on the side of weed on the salsa, infused with anti-gravity microbes, I'm flying. Oh, now I see why God alienated me. Identified by people, but still a fly object. Confined by the scriptures. I'm out of this world. I declare Martian law. Laws, regulations, keeping me regular on a regular. I'm cleansed by the word too. Plus, I see better. I call that fiber optics. But the enemy seems to be bugged by that. Yeah, optics. If you ticked off, call it a bomb squad. Maybe then you make the cut. When they find out, why are you acting like that? I'm trying to clock riches, so I ain't got time for it. I see you watching, but I don't do competition. I'm too busy in my compositions. I write in my own lane, ride in my lane so long, my carpool went through tunnels. Get it? Carpool tunnel, bridge over water. But when I get booked, I need that on the bridge. I lyrically stay on my prep like Ivy League kids. I'm preppy towards a woman. Best believe I sweat or not. I'm on my Joseph. No need for a coat for many colors. But I'll take colors of many coats. Staying clothed in my bright mind. I got experiences. I let my past tell. I don't know how to end this piece. I lost track of my position going in. I just went left on a whole nother agenda. Perfect title, government.